this is Dr. Deb from the Established Facts, and I realized I had such a good time in yesterday's video doing our case that I wanted to go for round two. So, I'm a doctor, I'm a gamer, and this is today's case. Subjective. I have to apologize to you all because in yesterday's video I was showing you our Bitboxes that we use for our organization in our game room, and Josh and I were doing some searching and we realized that they must not make them anymore. We couldn't find the website, we couldn't find anything about the Kickstarter anymore, so we guess they went out of business. I am so sorry. I had no idea. I thought that they were still in business. We haven't purchased anything from them since we got our first set of Bitboxes because we didn't need any more. And then when I went looking for them, I can't find them anywhere. But I thought it would be interesting to look at the Bitboxes. That's my daughter. She's watching. I thought it would be interesting to look at the Bitboxes and figure out why they're a neat idea. Let's take a look at a Bitbox. Let's put something in a Bitbox and chat about it. O stands for objective. The theory behind Bitboxes is that whenever you purchase a game, the box that it comes in is actually mostly filled with air and not as many actual gaming components. You would take the games out of those boxes that have mostly air and put them in a more compact and more efficient space. We're going to try it out right now. I'm going to pull a game off of our shelf that I actually want to put into a Bitbox, and we'll see if that theory holds up. So over here along the wall of games, I have this game right here on a scale of 1 to T-Rex. From the makers of Exploding Kittens, a game for people who are bad at charades. So as you can see, it's blocking these other games behind. You can't even tell that that's a Doctor Who game because you can't even see the title. So let's put this guy into a Bitbox and let's see what happens to our space and to our efficient use of it. So we're going to go over here. First thing we're going to do is we're going to see how much game there actually is inside this. So remove the lid. There's some rules. We're going to want to keep those. And then if you look at this, the only components to this game are, so these cards, and all of these lovely little T-Rex tokens, which are going to go over here. You see this big white container that is holding everything? This is actually taking up quite a bit of space inside this box, which we'll take a look at in a minute. I have taken all of the tokens and the cards out of this box, and the T-Rex tokens are now in this plastic bag, so they don't go flying everywhere. And then this white insert, we can get it to come out of here. There's the insert. That's a pretty big insert. So we're going to put that over here. So that is the box that it came in. Now if we put the cards back in it without that insert, let's see how much room is actually used up by the true components of this game. Yeah, tap it in there and put that in there. And then this guy, well, he lays across the top because he can't totally lay flat, but if I smush it down flat, you see how, and actually, that little corner back there is also not even being used at all. So what do we think? Maybe 50% of this box is being used with the game? 50 to 60% being generous? So that means about half of this box is actually air. So from a volume standpoint, not terribly efficient in using this space. So let's take it out of the box. By the way, this game is really funny. It's hilarious. We played it with some of our young adults when we had one of our game nights, and it was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. We definitely need to do an actual play, but it's got to have video. You can't appreciate that game without video. Alright, so we're going to go over here, and over here, this Bitbox doesn't have anything in it. This one also could be used. What if we pull this out? Actually, let's use this, because we have several boxes in the back. Do you see? That aren't being used for anything. Alright, so this first long box is being used for Forbidden Desert, so I don't want to do that. But let's see what one of these smaller boxes does for us. So that's your space inside it. And that's the old box. So you can see the Bitbox is a little bit shorter, and the Bitbox is actually a little bit taller. Okay, so what what happens? You can see I still have room in there. So if I wanted to put another game and tuck it in there, if it was something with small cards or just a few little pieces, I could fit it in there. You see how there is a little bit of extra room in there? I won't do that right now, but I might possibly do it in the future. And then we have the game components to it. Right now, since this is the only game in here, I can tuck that right in there. This does not fit in here, but that's actually okay because if I pull this out, you see how in there are boards? There's also rules in there. So I'm going to put the rules in this one. So the rules are now in this portion of the Bitbox, and the rest of it is in this portion of the Bitbox. And I'm going to label both of these. So I went from this and the entire box that went with it to that. And I could, again, possibly put another small game in there. So this may not be the only game that stays in here. And then I just cover it up. As you can see, I've used my handy dandy label maker to make a label for, sorry again for the glare, on a scale of 1 to T-Rex right there. And there's also a label down here so I can see what's going on. You can also use Sharpies on this. We started off with Sharpies, but then we realized that we liked the label a little bit better. Also, if we ever need to take it off, it's a little easier. You just peel the corner and you can just peel it off. A little more convenient that way. And I've also labeled over here where the rules are in this kind of flatter box. It's right there. So I know where everything is in this game, and I actually still have a little bit of room in here if I wanted to. I also probably need to check inside Forbidden Desert to see if there's any more room inside this. Maybe we'll do that the next time we put something inside a Bitbox. But for now, it's time for it to go back on the shelf where it came from. So now I can see that it is right there, and it is right there. And over here where it came from, I've gained a little bit of room. I just only need to get rid of these guys so that I can finally see those games that are behind there. So I've made some progress. A for assessment. I have to say, I think I am non-diagnostic. Needs further evaluation. Why do I say that? Well, from my standpoint, I find the Bitboxes a good design. I was able to save room right up back there, and it's now in a more compressed form. I'm more efficiently using my gaming space. It wasn't hard to put it in there. It took me, you saw how long it took me on the video, what, 5 minutes, maybe 10 if I was stretching it. Wasn't complicated. I'm using my space better. So I'm very happy of the investment that we made in the Bitbox system. So I don't know why they went out of business. I don't know if it was a financial situation, or maybe they bought too many and not enough people bought them, or didn't understand how to use them efficiently. If you have a Calyx system, I think it's a very reasonable option if it existed, which it doesn't. So my personal plan is I'm going to continue to use the Bitbox system and continue to move some of these games like those over into the Bitbox. My suggestion for a plan for you all, if there's anyone out there who's of an engineering mindset or of an inventing mindset, do you see a problem with the Bitboxes that I'm missing? So I'm asking for comments, suggestions, ideas. Tell me why they went out of business, or if you see an inherent flaw that I'm missing, because I would love to know and understand a little bit better what happened, because frankly, I'm at a loss. And if there really isn't anything wrong with it, is this something that somebody else should pick up? Is this a business idea that you might be able to come up with, or another company might be able to come up with to help with gaming storage? Because frankly, I think it's an eternal question. How do we store all our games? Who knows? Maybe you can come up with the answer and it can be a business idea for you. At any rate, I'm Dr. Deb. I'm a doctor, I'm a gamer, and this was my gaming consult.